What's up, my dudes? So we're continuing Discontinued week, even though it is now the next week. I didn't start it until like mid last week, so still continuing on. Still have 2 more fragrances and a full video to go. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing, as you guys know, one of my favorites. It can still be found here and there. It is by Guerlain. It is L'HOMME EDP Extreme. And so without further ado, let's get it. Alright, my great smelling dudes, welcome back to my channel. This is Randy, aka FragranceDoud, back with another fragrance video. Thank you so much for joining me again for another edition of my Discontinued week, where I'm going through all of the discontinued fragrances I picked up over the last few months, letting you know what I get from them, and then at the end doing a top 5 from all of my discontinueds and some of the ones that you can pick up that are alternatives. Before I get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, as well as if you like my content, consider following me on Instagram and TikTok at the same name or at FragranceDoud. So again, today I'm going to be covering a fragrance by the niche slash designer house by Guerlain. It is L'HOMME EDP Extreme. This is in the L'HOMME line, L'HOMME EDP line. There's L'HOMME EDP, Eau de Toilette, the L'Intense, the Eau de Parfum, which is the cherry one. There is L'HOMME EDP Cologne, L'HOMME EDP Cool. Pretty much all of them are discontinued. You can still find the Eau de Toilette here and there, and the Eau de Parfum here and there. The rest of them you can hardly find anywhere. But this is my favorite in the line by far. I am going to give you the note breakdown here so you can understand if you haven't seen any of my videos that I put this in like a list. Because it's fall, I didn't really mention it much prior outside of shorts, but this is one of my favorite fall fragrances out there for sure, not just in the line, but overall. So anyway, the note breakdown for L'HOMME EDP Extreme, the top notes are almond, pink pepper, and bergamot. The mid notes are plum, cinnamon, and heliotrope, and the base notes are tobacco, leather, patchouli, and cedar. It's advertised as a fruity sweet almond fragrance, and that's actually the best way to describe it. If you want to look at the bottle, so the bottle has changed over time. A lot of people ask me this question: why is the front gray and the top black when it's usually red? Because they did change the bottle to make them all look uniform. Because like Habit Rouge and stuff like that they all now have these black cap gray fronts, and so this used to have a red top, red sides, and a red front that said L'HOMME EDP Extreme, but now they're all more uniform, which I like the red one better, but who cares? It does smell the same. If they haven't really been reformulated, it was just the bottles that changed. So don't worry about that. So L'HOMME EDP Extreme, all of the fragrances have this base. The base is like a almond powdery tonka. Some of them are a little bit heavier, like the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum are a little bit heavier on that powdery sweet almond with that tonka coming in, giving it some of that sweetness. This one dials that back a bit, which is why I think I like it the best. So when you first spray it on, there is a little bit of a freshness to it because there's that bergamot as well as a little bit of a pink pepper spice. But the pink pepper is really dialed back. You can't really get much of it. Really what you get in the opening is almond and plum. The almond really does come through here not as powdery. It's more of like a sweet almond mixed with that plum, which is like a warm, deep plum, not more of the watery plum that you get in like a Rasasi Hawas. So this fragrance overall is a little bit more sweet. It's not cloyingly sweet. It's more of like a mature sweetness. And then once you work your way about 10 to 15 minutes into the fragrance, that bergamot goes away, that pink pepper starts to die down, and the pink pepper is replaced with a nice cinnamon and a little bit of a heliotrope. But don't think, because heliotrope and almond automatically makes people think of Parfums de Marly Pegasus, which this does not make it feel like that. It just comes in, gives a little bit of like a florally aspect, but then it's like gone as quick as it came in, and some people can't even notice the heliotrope. The fragrance notes you really need to pay attention to in this fragrance are plum, cinnamon, almond, tonka bean, tobacco, and what's the last one? I can't even think. Tobacco and leather. The leather is not heavy, so if you don't like leather fragrances, don't worry about that. So again, you get that sweet It's that almond plum mixture in the opening with a little bit of a freshness and a little bit of a spiciness. As that freshness and spiciness dissipates, it's more of a fall and wintertime fragrance, and then you get that cinnamon coming in, a little bit of heliotrope, that goes away, and then that's when you get that tobacco coming in, and that's when the dry down pulls in, and I love it. So the almond dissipates a bit while that plum mixes with the tobacco. The tobacco is not like a dry tobacco, it's more like a moist tobacco because of the mixture with that plum. And then you also do get a little bit of that sweet tonka bean and some woodiness coming in while you have a leather undertone. The first few times I sprayed this, I couldn't sense the leather that much, but you do get some leather down in the base. Usually comes in around an hour and a half, but overall it's more of a sweet, slightly creamy, slightly powdery fragrance depending on which way that you're viewing it. Plum, almond, tobacco are the main three things, with a little bit of a spice, a little bit of a woodiness, and a leather undertone. That's the best way to look at this fragrance. If you like plum, if you like almond, you will definitely like this fragrance. If you like tobacco, it's more of an undertone until you get further into the fragrance, and then it becomes like a supporting note. It's never a full tobacco fragrance. It's more of an almond plum fragrance. And that's in my opinion. I've heard people say that they get a lot more tobacco than I do. It's not like something like Tobacco Vanille or Parfums de Marly Harad. While I do like the tobacco in this, it's just more of a supporting aspect mixing together equally with the other notes I told you about. And then you have that cedar providing a little bit of a stable undertone of woods. Overall, that's the basis of this fragrance. Going into the performance of it though, the performance is not lackluster, it's not beast mode. It is one that I really like because you can wear it to occasions, even to work. I know some people will kill me for that, but I can wear this to work because it's not offensive. It's not like a heavy, super mature or super spicy fragrance. It's not a cloyingly sweet fragrance. So this is one of those fun fragrances I could wear to work. But at the same time, I could wear it during the day or night during the fall and winter, even early spring. It is a fantastic fragrance that really does project at a little bit above moderate for the first like 3 hours, and then it dries down into a little bit like a 2-3 inches away from the skin for the remainder of the scent, which lasts about 7 to 8 hours. That's pretty much it. L'HOMME EDP Extreme, one of my favorites. It'll always be in one of my favorites as long as I have a bottle of it. If you're looking for it and you can't find it, just let me know. I can help you. They do sell it on News Parfums from time to time because they do have them in Europe here and there. It does pop up on other sites. Like I remember searching for it a bunch, and every week it would come on a different site and then go away. I know a lot of times it's also on Harrods. So with it being on Harrods, it makes me feel like maybe this is one of the few that might not be discontinued overseas. I honestly don't know. Again, correct me in the comments if you know that answer. But you could also find it on eBay for like $130. But I would pay about that for this fragrance. It's great. It's the best one in the line for sure, definitely for the fall and winter. But let me know in the comments what you think of L'HOMME EDP Extreme. I've sent a few decants to people, and every single one of them said that they loved it. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Again, it's I believe it's discontinued, so don't get me wrong. I'm putting this as discontinued week for what I know about them, and discontinued in the United States it is. So that's L'HOMME EDP Extreme. It is a fantastic fragrance, one you should try out if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, or if you're interested in buying, and I'll be back with another discontinued and my last discontinued fragrance tomorrow. So without further ado, thank you guys so much. Peace out.